I chair argue, call the live virtual state plumbing board meeting of December 16, 2021 to order at 9:40 a.m. Debbie, will you please do the roll?
Yes, I will. Travis Argue?
Here.
Matt Roselle?
Here.
Craig Anderson? I'll give him a few moments. Corey Fraser?
Here.
Melissa Gett?
Here.
Molly Keller?
Here.
Jolie Bold. And Joe is trying to log in as well. So before we get to the voting, we'll just do another roll call just to make sure everybody is logged in.
Okay, no problem. All right. The approval of the agenda and order of business is next. Is there any members that would like any changes to the agenda? All right. Hearing none, I chair argue roll the agenda and order of business approved. The next is the approval of the draft minutes. Are there any members that need any changes to the draft meeting minutes? I chair argue roll the draft meeting minutes of October 21, 2021 final. The next meeting date will be February 17th, 2020. Our next one is Mr. Andy Boulton with general public comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Andy Boulton, I'm a policy analyst with the division. We've not received any requests for general public comment, but we're going to hold the line open for just a moment here to see if there's anyone dialed in who would like to provide general public comment to the board. At this time, if you are on the line and would like to provide general public comment, please unmute yourself, state your name and affiliation, if any, for the record. All right. Hearing none, Mr. Chair, that concludes general public comment.
All right, thank you. Next is up the plumbing program update with Mr. Andy Skinner.
Thank you, Chair Argue, members of the board. For the record, my name is Andy Skinner. I'm the plumbing program chief for the State of Oregon Building Codes Division. So I've got a couple things for the board today. One is we've been getting a couple of inquiries from retailers and supply houses on the demand response electric water heaters meeting CTA 2045. This was supposed to be rolled out for manufacturers January 1st of 2022, but it's been postponed at this time to July 1st of 2022 due to the lack of availability of parts for manufacturing this product. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up to let those supply houses and providers of materials know that it has been postponed. The other thing I wanted to communicate to the board is we did have our med gas update class December 2nd. We had a good showing. We had 60 plus individuals logged into the class. This class was not a required class, or did the division charge for this class. This class was for current active medical gas inspectors. It was an update class for new codes, and also just kind of recap some of those more important substantive issues that you see out in the industry when it comes to med gas facilities. But what I also wanted to say today was the division is going to record this course, this class, and it will be available on our website within the next couple of weeks for those that either didn't make the class or just want to log on and view the video to see what is new in the NFPA 99 and also the 2021 OPSC Chapter 13. So just kind of wanted to communicate that. Also, as we all know, it's been challenging through the pandemic, and the division has put on our website a technical bulletin. It was October 15th of 2021 in regards to the availability of materials and products. And what this bulletin really addresses is it gives the building officials the flexibility to allow, alternate materials, interchangeability of materials, as long as it's not a fire, life safety, or sanitation in our plumbing industry. One of the things that I have been brought up on is the availability for us for piping materials. So in our code, it does require all piping materials to be of like materials in new construction, but with this availability problem, as long as piping materials are approved materials, they don't have to be the same, and the connections are approved in the code, we can have different materials within a distribution system or a drain, waste, and vent system. So this is just to help those projects move along in a timely manner, for completion in a timely manner. So that's all I have for the board today. Or is there any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Andy. Next up is the consent orders, and that will be with Michael.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name is Michael Mayorga-Hamilton, contested case representative for the division. Before the board, we have a summary of consent orders that were recently negotiated by the division on behalf of the board. We've entered into these consent agreements in 5 cases since our last meeting. All settlements include the amount owed and suspended civil penalties that fall within the guidelines on the matrix, and they contain the standard conditions. The first case is C-2020-156 in the matter of Richard Nide. I would like to note that on the matrix that was posted online, it mentioned a violation for failing to have a permit. That was an error to be removed. The respondent in this case was assessed a penalty of $2,000 for installing a drain pipe from the septic system to the underfloor of the home and PEX tubing from the water well to the underfloor of the home without a journeyman plumber's license. Respondent has agreed to pay a penalty of $500, with the remaining $1,500 stayed. The second case on the agenda is in the matter of Emerald Creek Homes, C-2020-152. The respondent in this case was assessed a penalty of $3,000 for allowing unlicensed individuals to install a drain pipe from the septic system to the underfloor of the home and PEX tubing from the water well to the underfloor of the home, and for failing to have a plumbing permit. Respondent has agreed to pay a penalty of $1,250, with the remaining $1,750 stayed. The third case on the agenda is in the matter of Oscar Vargas Arias, ABN Vargas Construction, C-2020-131. The respondent in this case was assessed a penalty of $6,000 for installing a new water supply line for 2 bathroom sinks, 2 showers, 2 kitchen sinks, and for the installation of a new toilet, all without a journeyman plumber's license, a plumbing contractor's license, and a plumbing permit. Respondent has agreed to pay a penalty of $1,200, with the remaining $4,800 stayed. The fourth case on the agenda is in the matter of Alpine Plumbing Mechanical, C-2019-229 and C-2021-119. The respondent in this case was assessed a penalty of $28,000 for allowing unlicensed individuals to perform plumbing work, including but not limited to installing water lines, water hookups to sinks, drain pipes, shower tubs, and toilets. Respondent has agreed to pay $10,000, with the remaining $18,000 stayed. Respondent has also agreed to a 90-day suspension of its plumbing contractor's license. In addition, respondent agrees that its license will be conditioned for the next 5 years, and it will be required to provide quarterly reports, which will include a list of jobs worked on during the quarter, with each customer's name and address copies of all invoices from each job, copies of respondents' payroll records for each quarter, and copies of all permits issued for each job. Respondent also agrees to cease and desist from permitting unlicensed plumbing work. The fifth case on the agenda is in the matter of Jared Lee Donald, which is the companion case to the case I just presented for Alpine Plumbing and Mechanical. The respondent in this case was assessed a penalty of $28,000 for allowing unlicensed individuals to do plumbing work, including but not limited to installing water lines, water hookups to sinks, drain pipes, showers, tubs, and toilets. The respondent has agreed to pay $10,000 with the remaining $18,000 stayed. The respondent has also agreed that his journeyman plumber's license will be revoked, and the respondent will be ineligible to apply for or hold a journeyman plumber license for a period of 4 years. Respondent also agrees to cease and desist from allowing individuals to perform unlicensed plumbing work. I believe a motion to adopt the 5 cases for the resolution as outlined in the enforcement board report is required. You can make a motion to approve or disapprove, but if you disapprove, please state the reason for the disapproval in the record. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer.
All right, thank you, Michael. Does any members of the board have any questions for Michael? All right, hearing none. I've read the violations, and I feel comfortable making the motion to issue final orders adopting the proposed orders for all 5 cases. There's been a motion made. Is there any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, let's take a vote. Debbie, will you do the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. And that's accepting the amended motion for the first case listed?
Yes. I'm
Not
sorry.
one of the
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Thank you. Jolie Bold?
Aye.
Molly Keller?
Aye.
Melissa Gett?
Aye.
Corey Fraser?
Aye.
Craig Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Chair Matthew Roselle?
Aye.
And Chair Travis Argue.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
All right. Thank you, Debbie. All right. Next is the license clarifications for sanitary sewer with the plumbing chief, Mr. Andy Skinner.
Thank you, Chair Argue, members of the board. For the record, my name is Andy Skinner with the Building Codes Division. The board had asked the division to look into the sewer licensing requirements and scope of the sewer installer. And what the board has before them today is item number 4A. This is the outcome. We did this in a sewer license clarification. And just to hit the 2 highlights of the issue, so a plumbing business license, which was not required before, will be required moving forward in order to conduct a plumbing business. So along with their CCB, a plumbing business license is required from the division. And the second one of that is the scoping of the installer. And that scoping allows the licensed installer outside of the 5-foot demarcation from the building to install all piping and related appurtenances and equipment to that piping outside of that 5-foot. They cannot install anything within the 5-foot back to the building or away from the building. And that is that for that clarification. Are there any questions on that? Okay. With no questions, I would like to now introduce Blake Shelide. He is from the Department of Energy, Oregon Department of Energy, and I believe he's got some great information for the board. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Andy.
Chair Argue, members of the Plumbing Board, it's good to see you again, and thanks for the opportunity to present the memo that's included in your board packet to provide some additional information and an update on the efficiency standards work, House Bill 2062, and recent Oregon Department of Energy rulemaking as a follow-up to the overview that was provided at your August 19th meeting. I'm mainly here just to answer any questions you might have at this time, but I also wanted to highlight section of the memo that provides an overview of the recent Oregon Department of Energy rulemaking that included a few efficiency standards updates, primarily for cleanup and housekeeping, but also to update Oregon standard for computers and computer monitors, and then also probably most relevant to your board, and as Mr. Skinner mentioned earlier, it includes a delay to the effective date that's based on the date of manufacture for the demand response water heater requirement, and the delay is a pushback from January 1st of 2022 to July 1st of 2022 to be responsive to industry concerns around supply chain challenges and equipment availability. Our agency is going to continue to monitor this situation in conjunction with the other states, mainly Washington, that have a similar standard, and work with our industry partners into the second quarter of 2022 to evaluate a potential need for additional postponement if it's needed. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, and I'm happy to be a resource as needed. Thank you.
Is there any questions from the board for Blake?
I don't think so.
All right. Hearing none, then you want to talk, Matt, or are you good?
I'm good. I don't have any questions.
All right. All right. Thank you. All right. So I appreciate that, Blake. The next on the agenda is item 5 is none. Number 6 is unfinished business, and there is none. Next is a review of the approved committee recommendations for continuing ed with Mr. Andy Boulton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Andy Boulton, policy analyst at the division. Last month, the Continuing Education Committee reviewed 44 applications from 7 organizations. All 38 courses were recommended for approval, and all 6 instructors were recommended for approval. There's a matrix detailing all 44 applications in your board packet, and this item will require a motion.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody care to volunteer for a motion?
I'll make a motion. So I move to approve the committee's recommendation for approval of courses and the instructors.
Okay, there's been a motion made. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. Debbie, will you please call for the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Joe LeBold,
Aye.
Molly Keller,
Aye.
Melissa Gett,
Aye.
Corey Fraser,
Aye.
Craig Anderson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Matt Roselle,
Aye.
Chair Travis Argue.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes unanimously.
All right, thank you. All right, there are no announcements, and next is there is no further business. This meeting will be adjourned at 9:58. Thank you, folks.